Welcome, whimsical Australian children, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Review. I didn't know. From the Geek Salad Podcast, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And tonight we conclude our look at the films of the Walt Disney Animation Studio that were made after the Walt Disney death slump.
Yeah.
Now, this one is interesting because technically speaking, it falls in as both slump era and Renaissance era, only because while it was produced during the slump, it actually was released after the Renaissance of Little Mermaid, and that is The Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah, the great forgotten movie.
Honestly, when you think about like what was the first Disney animated sequel to a full to a full length animated movie, this is not the one you think of.
Yeah, and also this is the what was it? This is the very first fully digital animated movie, I believe.
Yes, digital paint and digital backgrounds primarily.
Yeah, the very first feature film to be completely created digitally.
Yeah.
So this is actually a pretty groundbreaking movie that everybody forgets happened.
Right, exactly. And a lot of it has to do, I mean, there's a lot of elements that go into why people forget about this movie. First of all, it's a sequel to one of their more forgettable disasters of the 70s. The amazing part about that, I was thinking about that while I was watching it, and I've mentioned this before, that the Rescuers, the original 1977 Rescuers, looks unfinished, even though it was in production for like close to 10 years.
Yeah.
This one is groundbreaking in this animation. But I feel like the reason why people tend to forget about it is because for all of the groundbreaking animation and all that, realistically, it feels like a directed-to-video sequel.
It really does. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad.
No, I find it to be inoffensive.
Yeah.
Somewhat disposable, but it's in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably also forgettable because it sits nestled very quietly in between The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast.
Right, exactly.
It is in the shadow of two very, very bigger movies.
And that's another reason why it gets forgotten.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take it back a second, okay? And let's talk about, the next time we get a Renaissance. It's Tangled.
Mm-hmm.
Tangled came out in 2010. Frozen, which is kind of like it plays the Beauty and the Beast role, to Tangled.
Yeah.
2013, 3 years later. What is in the middle?
Is that
2011?
No, Princess and the Frog was 2009.
2009, yes. What sits in the middle?
I'm blanking.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Oh. I thought you knew off the top of your head.
I didn't. It was just curious to me that this is kind of how we got there. And all right, so Winnie the Pooh was 2011.
Same year.
Which is part of the 50.
Right.
I'm gonna pull up 2012 now. Oh wait, 2012 was Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about how long it took for them to make that same leap that it took in this first Renaissance between Tangled, which was between The Little Mermaid, which was a decently sized hit, to the monolith that was Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
So this guy didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Plus, it also had no connection with Ashman and Menken.
Right. It didn't.
And they kind of had pretty much the magic wand for the Disney Renaissance at that point.
Exactly. Again, this was one that they wanted. I'm reading the trivia on IMDb. They really wanted the original cast back, but the actor who voiced Orville in the original movie was dead.
Yeah.
So instead of recasting the voice, they cast John Candy as Wilbur.
Which, I mean, not a bad way to go.
Right.
And I believe this was Ava Gabor's last movie before she died.
This is her last film, yes.
And of course, we got Bob Newhart,
Yep.
who, for me, he was the MVP of this movie.
He is. No, but here's the thing about this movie that kind of drove me a little nuts. Outside of Cody, there isn't enough time spent on any other character.
Yeah.
You get a lot of stuff that goes on, but it's almost like they keep cutting back to these various scenes of like Bernard, Bianca, and Jake. And then you get them for just a little bit. And then you go to Wilbur and the stuff going on with Wilbur. And then you go on the stuff with Cody. And then you go back. But it's never like you don't spend enough time with any of the characters.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the fact that we kind of got to know Bernard and Bianca in the first movie, it seems weird.
Yeah, I mean, Jake wasn't a bad character, but like I don't know, we just didn't get very much of him.
No, we didn't. And a lot of the reason why I think he exists is solely so Disney could capitalize on the popularity from 4 years prior of Crocodile Dundee.
That's the entire reason why this is set in Australia, because this entire movie is made because Eisner was like, hey, we just released The Rescuers. People seem to like it. And people seem to like that Crocodile Dundee movie. Let's do another Rescuers movie, but set in Australia. Yeah.
It's just, it's overall, it's just, this movie is just one of those, like, okay, it exists. It's not bad at all. But, I mean, it really does kind of, and I'm thinking again now about the second Renaissance. What was the movie that followed after Tangled? Winnie the Pooh. Did I remember that it was Winnie the Pooh? No, I had to look it up.
I knew there was another Winnie the Pooh movie around there. I had no idea when it came out.
2011. Yep, considered one of the when they count how many there are, that is in there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it seems like a lot of the stuff with Wilbur was thrown in there because, hey, we got John Candy, and hey, this movie would be like 45 minutes if we didn't throw in a bunch of padding scenes.
Yeah, and that's truly why Wilbur exists, is for padding.
Yeah, and what was that frilled gecko lizard thing?
Oh, Frank?
I wished he had gotten eaten. I hated that lizard so much. They would have actually escaped if not for that freaking thing.
Yeah. It's, it was just one of the, now here's the thing that really didn't sit right with me either. Cody is the only human being who can talk to all of these animals.
Well, except for, I think Penny from the first movie.
I think, honestly, it's been forever since I've seen.
Yeah, me as well, but I believe she could as well.
Right. And it seems more like a plot convenience than anything else. It's not like, in Ratatouille, but Remy is just trying to signal the Linguini, don't drown me. But it's, I don't know. It's just, this one is so tough because it honestly doesn't feel like it belongs in that echelon of Disney movies. And I'm not saying that this is a bad movie. Quite honestly, I like this better than I liked Oliver and Company. And
all right. I did enjoy Oliver and Company, but I think I do like this one a little bit more.
Right. And I actually saw this in the theater. And primarily what got me out to the theater, a couple of things. First of all, I went to go see Home Alone and it sold out. So I had to go see this.
I'm assuming he means this.
Yes. Hey, Kevin. Yes. You.
Yeah, B and H are right next to each other, so yeah.
It's okay. We all have typos. But yeah, no, it's not a bad. I mean, I don't think it's a bad movie.
No.
I remember enjoying it when I saw it in the theater. Again, one of my favorites when I was a kid. Okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it quite a lot when I was a kid. But it'd probably been like 30 years since I've seen this.
Right.
Rewatching it just earlier today, it was nostalgia had a lot of things going for it.
I really so Kevin, you can answer this because I'm sure that you watched this on VHS. Did it come included with The Prince and the Pauper, which was the short that preceded it? And quite honestly, the driving force for putting me in the theater to go see this.
Was that the Mickey Mouse Prince and the
The
Pauper?
Mickey Mouse Prince and the Pauper.
I doubt it then, because I remember watching this on VHS. I do not remember ever watching The Prince and the Pauper.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if there was another edition. Maybe Kevin could shed some light on that one. Not that I'm okay. Maybe it's kind of like they were selling it separately, just like they did with Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Mm.
And it was interesting too, because they weren't in the practice of releasing shorts in front of the movies. In fact, the next time this happens is in 2017 with Coco.
Mm.
And that Frozen short that people really got upset about.
Well, it went on for so long.
To sing a Christmas song, it went 17 minutes. That's a long time for a Christmas song.
Yeah, I don't know. With this one, you know what's weird is it's about this. Gray Mouse Detective and Oliver and Company are all about the same length.
Yes,
but they all feel very different lengths.
They definitely feel like they come from three very different generations of Disney animation. They really do, because when you think about, like, and we've talked about this, that like the Great Mouse Detective really feels like Mickey's Christmas Carol. The animation, the voices. Waiting for you. I saw you lean in there. This movie is kind of a weird place. I haven't shown it to my kids yet. All right, and Kevin, I'm going to put a pin in that because I do want to talk about that in a second. But I got to stay on this track right now. But we talked about it last week. Oliver and Company looks like a Don Bluth film.
Yeah,
it legitimately looks and is animated like a Don Bluth film.
Yeah,
this movie feels like, with all of the breakthrough technology that they use to animate this thing, feels like it belongs on DVD. It's a direct-to-home video release, which they weren't in the practice of doing back then.
Yeah, this one, if it'd been released like maybe 5 years later, it would have been direct to VHS or direct to DVD.
I firmly, but it wouldn't have looked as good. That's kind of therein lay the rub. Now, here's the thing. Kevin Say hasn't showed it to his kids yet. McLeach is a terrifying villain. My issue with McLeach, played by the great George C. Scott, is that, like, think about what makes a great Disney villain. Even, and I'll posit this to you, Madame Medusa from the original Rescuers, who is essentially Cruella de Vil. Yeah. Let's be honest, she is Cruella de Vil. McLeach is plain evil. There's no camp to it. There's no fun to it. I would say the same thing about I can't remember the character's name in Tarzan. Same type of thing. But you know who I'm talking about, right? The hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really going to irritate me now. Keep talking.
Go look it up. And that's the thing, is that I feel like McLeach is too scary for kids. So, Kevin, I don't know how old your kids are, but I don't even know if I'd recommend this for them until they're a little older, and maybe they've absorbed a little more. What's that?
Clayton.
I knew it sounded something like Clayton.
I knew it began with a C.
It's just this whole movie has got me. It's got me tied up because I like it. It's not bad. Yeah. I won't go back to it anytime in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, all the great Disney villains have this like touch of over the topness to them.
They're all camp.
Yeah, McLeach was just straight up evil.
Yeah.
I mean, he was playing he was fishing for alligators with Cody. That's just mean.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just kind of, and the fact that he's playing with him, he's toying with him, he's being, and that's one thing that we don't see a lot of. I mean, even in like villain, Disney villains' most desperate moments, they don't get to toying with them, and if they do, it's really fast. Gaston and the Beast, from the very next year. But no, it's you can always usually tell a really great Disney villain if they could be conceivingly played by a drag queen. He kills the father eagle and abuses his yeah, seriously. Joanna, I think that's the name of the lizard.
Yeah, voiced by Fred Welker, I believe.
Yes, Frank Welker.
Frank
Welker, who also sung in place of George C. Scott. All those Home on the Range deviations, those are Frank Welker.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I guess possibly one of the issues is the fact that they cast George C. Scott, and like some people can play villains with that element of camp. George C. Scott, when he plays a villain, he's just a straight up villain.
Right. But even when you see like some of his more, I mean, let's be honest, depending on what side of the camp you're sitting on, Patton is portrayed as a villain. The character that he played, the villain he played, the general he played in Doctor Strangelove is essentially a villain. But he plays them where they're still entertaining. They're fun to watch. This one, and maybe it's because we didn't get to see his face. I mean, the character doesn't look anything like him. McLeach is more hardened. Whereas George C. Scott, while he, has got, that hardened face and that wiffle cut, his eyes. George C. Scott works well with his eyes. Oh. He also Home on the Range. Yeah. And that is, again.
And, like the koalas, like saying, okay, you're going to go out as a handbag. You're going to go out as shoes. Wow.
Right. And I just want to point out too. Let's think of somebody else whose entire thing was going to be skinning animals. Cruella de Vil. She is very memorable. Obviously, Dancing with Mr. Brownstone. Comfortable enough to be leaving her house in nothing but going out braless in a slip and a fur coat.
Yeah. You know what? She is positive about her body.
She's very body positive. And you know what the interesting thing is? Most Disney villains are.
Yeah.
With the exception of Mother Gothel.
Yeah, but that was kind of like
obsessed with her youth.
Villainous.
Right. But you needed that. And, obviously the evil queen from Snow White.
Yeah. Someone else is prettier than me? Oh, I'm going to have to kill everybody.
Snow White is fairer. She's 14. And then you just see the mirror in jail. I found that in a meme once. I gotta go find that again.
The thing is, that mirror actually, he was a slave, so he literally was being bound by the Queen's magic.
Right.
Kind of makes you feel sorry for him.
Yeah, it's just weird because this isn't a dustbin film. I really truly believe that if we were to, and my God, what an episode that would be, if we were to rank all, how many Disney animated films are there? Official. Triangle is 50.
Have they had 65 by this point?
I think it's got to be 65 by this point. I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Actually, I would think that she's definitely obsessed about her looks because every time she looks in the mirror, she's always pulling her skin back and all that. But yeah, I'm sure it also has something to do with not dying either.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up the list of movie. Oh wait, no. Oh wow, sorry. That Wrong list. I just get all of the movies, not just the
All right.
live action ones.
Yeah, just want I want the official Disney animated.
Yeah.
Because there are some, and that'll be a subject for another day. But that's definitely going to be something we're going to have to rank.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this would definitely, sit in that. I would say mid tier.
All right. I got the list here. Of course, they don't number them. Keep talking. I'm gonna have to count these.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And think about some of the other sequels. Now, here's the thing: Disney's in the sequel making business now. Their most successful animated films, within the last 5 years, have all been sequels. I mean, think about that. And I'm counting Pixar in here too, so get off my back. Toy Story 4 crossed $1 billion. Frozen 2 is the highest grossing animated film ever. They did pretty well with Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one they released, Wish, was number 62.
Number 62.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're not there yet.
When Moana 2 comes out in November, that will be 63. And then Zootopia 2 right now is shown to be 64.
Right. Okay. A lot of movies. And it's going to be really hard for me to actually wonder if we're considering Moana 2 an actual Disney animation studio sequel. This is kind of Disney and animated. What are the chances you guys will review Bluey? We don't tend to do TV, especially something like, all right, you want my capsule review of Bluey real quick, Kevin? I know you're a long time watcher and listener, and I appreciate that. I'll give you my capsule review of Bluey because my kids watch it. They are older, and they still find it immensely charming, as do I. For a kids show that deals with the family unit, I love the fallibility of the parents. I love that the kids aren't afraid to make mistakes. I love the fact that the parents want to get their their hands dirty in raising their kids. It is an utterly charming show.
It's a show that I've never gotten around to watching, but I've heard nothing but great things, and it's one that's on my list of shows I would like to get started in.
Yes. And here's the thing. It is like, I feel like with Bluey, if you don't like Bluey, you do not have a soul.
Kind of like if you don't like The Princess Bride.
What's that?
If you don't like The Princess Bride, there's something wrong with your soul.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember the name of the Bluey ripoff. Straight at the parents. Seriously, no, it is. It's aimed straight at the parents. So yeah, and that's the other thing too. Bluey is a truly great, wholesome show when bullshit like Chip Chilla exists, which essentially is, hey, my children are my property. I'm going to tell them what to do.
I've never heard of that show.
What's that?
Never heard of that show.
Oh, it's from Ben Shapiro's production studio, so it's anti-woke. So it sucks.
Yeah, I don't care then.
Terror on the Prairie? How much do we make? All right, are there any zeros beyond that $15? No, $15. Okay. But anyway, back to the Rescuers. So yeah, I kind of think I need to go back and watch the original Rescuers again. It's always been in a weird place kind of movie. I used to hold the original Rescuers a very special place in my heart. My grandmother took me to see it, and I enjoyed it. I think it's one of the first movies I saw. Now I got to think about that too, because and this is same year Star Wars was released, and I did see Star Wars in its first run. So let me take a look, see when the Rescuers was released.
Rescuers was June 22nd, 1977. So like 2 months. A
month after Star Wars was released, and probably, I definitely would have seen the second. But yeah, tis what tis. This is fine. I'm glad it's on Disney Plus. You can watch it whenever you want, and you can actually make your own double feature now because The Prince and the Pauper is also available on Disney Plus. You know what? No, I'm gonna double check that before I shoot my big mouth off.
So I think both of us kind of agree. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but you know what? For a sequel to The Rescuers, it's a lot better than it should have been.
Yep. All right, Prince and the Pauper.
I would be surprised if that wasn't on Disney Plus.
There were some shorts that took forever to show up, but yeah, The Prince and the Pauper is on there. Yeah, and if you're just looking for a movie to sit, a movie night with the kids, something you haven't watched 1,000 times before, if you're tired of Frozen, if you're tired of Tangled, if you're tired of Beauty and the Beast.
And you have an hour and 15 until their bedtime. There you go.
Yeah, perfect. Runs longer than a standard 1 hour drama.
Yeah.
But only slightly.
Yeah, I mean, with Great Mouse Detective, it was an hour and 15 and it felt shorter than that. Oliver & Company, it kind of felt like exactly an hour and 15. This one, it honestly, for as quick as it was, it felt longer.
It did, and I have a feeling the reason why is because we don't spend enough time with the characters. This thing is being tired of Tangled.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is a fun movie. It is a really ridiculous.
Yeah, I really enjoy Tangled. We've put it on for the kids several times. My niece loved it. So, but that's the Rescuers Down Under. I think we're as kind to it as we could possibly be. Again, it's not bad.
No,
it's just not.
Not memorable.
It's not one of those ones that I will go. I will like put on my top 5. It's not a top 5 for me at all. Not even top 10. But
you know what? Oliver & Company, not really all that memorable either. But at least it does have some solid songs in it. This one doesn't really even have that.
No, there were no songs. There were really no. I'm not counting the Home on the Range deviations. No, this is not a musical. This is straight up, which is rare for Disney, especially at this point, because you were going to get Broadway.
Well, the original Rescuers wasn't a musical either.
No, there was like one song, but but it was the same thing with that. It was such a 70s Disney thing.
Yeah. And
this movie does it. I mean, that's the one big positive I give this movie. It doesn't feel like the sequel to a 1970s film.
No, really doesn't.
No, it definitely is a more modern looking movie.
Yeah, animation is clean. They made the best use of that, the cap system, to do the digital artwork because the colors really pop in it.
It's a lot better. Seriously. You've never seen The Rescuers, have you? The original Rescuers?
I'm sure I have seen it, but it's been so long, I can't really remember it.
Yeah. I'm actually genuinely curious now whether or not, and I have to look this up, but whether or not The Rescuers came out on home video after. I'm looking that up. That'd be a good, because I remember it coming out on home video, but I don't remember if there was a first release of it.
I do know that the Rescuers Down Under was a box office bomb.
It was, yeah. Because it was going up against Home Alone.
Yeah.
It opened the same weekend as Home Alone. Another movie starring John Candy, by the way.
Yeah. Pulled in about 45, 46 million. Wikipedia doesn't have the budget, but I'm guessing it's probably a little bit more than that.
All right, taking a look, seeing what came out first. Classic video. Aha! 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 All right. The Rescuers Down Under was released in the Walt Disney Classics video series on September 17th, 1991.
So a year after
Well, The Rescuers was released on VHS a year later on September 18th, 1992.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you remember? Hey, you enjoyed this movie? Well, how about watching a further adventure of them that looks worse and has a quick shot of a naked woman?
Yeah, and freeze frame on VHS sucked back then. So let's. But anyway, I don't think I've got much else to say about this. It's.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Again, I enjoyed it. And I know a lot of people who really do enjoy this movie. They have a soft spot for this movie, and that is perfectly fine. I'm not going to yuck your yum on here.
No.
But
It was fun.
yeah, it was fine. It was fun. But you know, it is also it opens the door to that whole new world that we're going to get over. See what I did there? Over the next couple of years, Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, The Lion King.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Pocahontas.
That is the thing, though, because like with the Caps art system that they used, this movie does actually look better than The Little Mermaid. I think
it does. It absolutely does. Because you know what the funny thing about Little Mermaid is, now that we're I'm going to backtrack here, Little Mermaid's animation feels like the Great Mouse Detectives animation, and maybe that's because Clement Musker directed both of them.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from with that.
But yeah, I mean, it didn't now it's formulated into the Disney style.
Yeah,
you know, other than like songs, and you know whether or not it's hand drawn or if it's 3D and CG animation. Those are really the big differentiators now.
Yeah.
Until you get to that grouping of Disney CG that we might bring up next year. We're losing Pixar. What are we gonna do? Oh yeah, let's make a movie so visually displeasing and so hateful. Oh, okay. All right. Really dark. All right. Now you get me thinking here. Well,
Ursula. She turned Triton into a little mollusk.
But she's still camp. She's still fun to watch. Actually, I'm thinking of what's his name from Sykes.
Oh yeah.
From Oliver and Company.
Yeah, Sykes was
very dark villain.
Yeah. Radigan did have that camp. Thanks.
Radigan again. If if a drag queen can play that character, then it's going to fit well into the Disney villain portfolio.
Now that makes me really, really want to see a version of Lion King with a drag queen playing Scar. That would be so interesting.
Again, you know what? I'm gonna test this theory. I'm gonna see who else agrees with me on this because it just never popped into my head today. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hunchback Super Dark. Yep. Yeah, Frollo definitely not.
He's not camp at all.
No. But he does have the best song in the entire movie.
Gaston had a very nice villain arc, actually, starting off not too bad and then dropping big time.
Right. But the beauty is Gaston's high watermark is his own song.
Yeah.
And it definitely creates Scarborough's the King Wants Fascism. Yeah, but he's also so camp and fey doing it too.
He doesn't make it to world.
You have no idea. But yeah, no, there's a lot of they trusted kids at this point too. This isn't the Disney of old. They definitely trusted the kids to, hey, kids, life sucks.
Well, I mean, actually, no, the Disney of old did do that. Then they stopped trusting kids, and then they got back to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. Dude, get back to those basics there.
Just Pinocchio.
I haven't watched the live action. I've heard the live action sucks, and I don't want to see Lampwick get turned into a donkey in live action. I want to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is Rescuers Down Under. That is our Disney month. It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to what we have coming up next month. So first of all, Kevin, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for contributing. Next month, though, here's what we're doing. It's MST May.
Yeah. I was thinking
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yep.
Where we are going to have some special guests on, and we are going to discuss some of our favorite Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes. Yes. Be it the Joel era, be it the Mike era.
Be it the Jonah era, the Emily era.
Yep.
Anything.
Whichever one
Yeah.
In fact, I kind of feel like we do need to pick from all of us should pick from different eras. Maybe not Emily, because there's not a lot of stuff readily available for Emily.
Yeah, honestly, from Emily, I've been watching actually the MST3K Shorts channel on YouTube lately, and I've seen the occasional Emily short in there, but I don't think I've ever actually seen any.
Slab Fest. Oh, I didn't even think about that one being in the running.
Yeah, I've got my list narrowed down to like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I've got it down to a couple as well.
We've got one pick that's been confirmed.
Yes. And I saw Emily live. When we saw MST live, it was nice. Emily. Yeah.
Yeah, she did the live shows when they last did it.
Yeah, and she's fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. But anyway, that is next month's assortment of Mystery Science cheesy goodness. But hey, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, give that button that subscribe, hit the thumbs up because it really helps us out. Also, leave a polite comment if you liked or disliked Rescuers Down Under. We want to know. Leave that polite comment. Check out our archive. We are all over the place. Mike and I also host a podcast called Geek Salad. You can get that wherever you get your podcast. Audio feed also shows up here. Call my one-shot D&D characters.
Bob Johnson. Wait.
What? Wrist, McHuge large. Did I get you a mug that has all the names on it?
Oh.
I thought I got you a coffee mug that had all the names on it.
Maybe.
You're gonna have to let me know because your birthday is coming up. But yeah, you could check out the podcast right here as well on YouTube. The audio streams here. Speaking of which, we just launched a new episode last night where we put on our Imagineer hats and we redesigned the Disney parks. It's a lot of fun. We had a great conversation. A lot of great feedback from our listeners. So you can check that out there. Also follow us on the socials, Geek Salad Podcast on Facebook, Geek Salad Radio, at Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads. Realistically, just Twitter. I haven't done shit on Blue Sky or Threads forever. But yeah, check that out. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be hurtful. We'll talk to you later, Mike.
Cody wasn't